So in the last set of videos, we have seen the importance of our funnel, how to set up your marketing funnel, and how to write contents and all those things in our few series of videos. So in this video, what we're going to cover is that, let's say you are, because of your effort, you're bringing traffic. Yeah, you wanted to um, track them. For example, in my website, if I show you, there are like some feedback forms. I have it here. I have a chat and all those things. You need a developer assistant to put these things, right? But imagine there is an alternative way you could do all these things. Okay, that's called tag manager. So in this video, what we're going to see is that we're going to see what is tag manager, what is the most common used tag manager, and technically what's inside those tag manager and how to use them. Okay, that's what we're gonna see. Okay, let's start. Tag manager, just to show you a preview, right? This is how a tag manager looks like. Okay, but what is tag manager is that, so in a normal time or in a traditional way, what you will do is that when you want to put your Facebook pixel, you will go inside your WordPress or any other websites you have. You will so just to show you, you will go into the usually those whichever the tools which ask you to put the tracking, they will tell you, okay, can you put this tracking in the head element? Can you put some tracking in the body element? That's what they will do, right? If you have, if you are technically savvy and then you have access to the code, you can do it. But what if you don't, and then also like there are like multiple conditions and all those things you wanted to set up. Yeah, that's in a bigger companies. You will have like websites, for example, you will have a subdomain or like a subdirectory for Malaysia, and then you will have a subdirectory for Singapore, and then you will have a subdirectory for US. So there are like a multiple things. Even in the SG, in the Singapore itself, maybe you wanted to have like a Mandarin thing, or like a Bahasa Malaysia, and then you wanted to have like an English version. So you're gonna have a different thing, yeah. So if you're gonna put a single, I mean, like, imagine all your code is gonna be like inside the code base. It's gonna be hard for you to manage it. But similarly, how we put up our files in our folders and then organize them, this gives you an option to manage your code bases. Okay, or your tracking pixels. So the track manager has three things. Okay, an additional optional thing as this as well. Okay, the three things is like tags, second is triggers and variables, and finally for you to organize this into folders. These folders, as I shared, you can use it to, for example, I don't have any folders, but if I wanted to put like for example, as I shared, just say like Singapore pixels. Okay, and then if I wanted to put like Malaysia, Malaysia pixels, I can name them. Okay, but anyway, what's the important thing is that it's that tag, trigger, and variables. Okay, in design, in design academics, or in the from a developer academics as well, there is something called components based system. Components based system is that instead of you hard code everything in a single page, you prepare a component, you prepare a component, and then you prepare another component, and then in the home page, let's say this is the home page, right? They import or they refer these home components. This is how in technically they do, but I don't want to go technical. It's like they will just say import component and then just put component one, like this. What happen is that, let's say if you're using this component one in, like, for example, in the about page. So when there is a change in this in the section, okay, for example, in the home page, let's say you have a phone number. In your about page also you have the phone number. If you want to change the phone number, you need to go here and change here. You need to change, right? Imagine this is just put it in a single in a re cannot say reusable, but referable component. You put it and then you reuse it here. So when you make a change here, this change gets updated. Okay, it's the same way. Let me just copy this. So in the same way, you have variables, and then you have tags as well. A variable, so inside the tag you can use, not inside the tag, sorry, inside the triggers, inside there is three things, yeah, inside the triggers. No, inside the tags one, sorry. I'm just trying to get the proper hierarchy. So let's say this is a tag. I will show you all these things. You can create variables for tags and also for what is the other one, for the trigger as well. I have sometimes hard memories. So for example, this is variable one, and here also you want to use variable one. You can reuse all these things. So when your website becomes too big, when you want to have, like for example, even for Facebook itself, you want to have like a 10-15 type of conversions. Are you going to put your Facebook pixel in Facebook the pixel ID in everything? No, you wanted to refer and then make it structured. Okay, that's why, that's the purpose of these tags, triggers, and all those things. It's basically for some sophisticated work. We're gonna see some examples as well how you can do it. But for now, before we go into that, so these tag managers, okay, the major tag manager used across by lots of company is it's Google Tag Manager. Okay, I mean you can see here from Wappalyzer, 97% of the tag manager share is used by Google Tag Manager, but in enterprise companies they use Adobe Experience, and also this there is something called Telium, and Matomo is an open source tag manager, and there are like blah 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 other things as well. So just because mostly, and this is free as well, so we're gonna see Google Tag Manager. Okay, cool. So I already have a Google Tag Manager account. This is for my SaaS company, which we have been heavily utilizing it. I mean, if for a bigger e-commerce, let's say they are in a multinational, like 7 countries, 10 countries, and or they have multiple products, that it will be like too big, and there is even a different structure we build it. But for now, we're going to see a simple use case for a personal blog and all those things. Okay, cool. So that's about the tag manager. We're going to see the examples, huh? But for a mobile space, you don't have tag manager. You have tag managers, okay, but it's not that sophisticated. Or we can say Google Tag Manager is bit late to this mobile space. Okay, that's why there is another category called attribution marketing tools. Those attribution marketing tools will allow you to similar like Google Tag Manager, they allow you to place all these pixels. Okay, that's not our focus now, but what we're going to see is that how we can use Google Tag Manager for a web, and how we can put up all these pixels. Okay, we are not going to see all the pixels, but we're going to just see like 1 2 3 pixels, how to implement them. Then then also like go deeper into like how we can structure our tag managers itself. I have created a, I'm going to create a fresh tag manager, not a fresh tag manager, I mean like a fresh account. Instead of using our existing account, I'm going to create this. For this, I'm also going to use our another project for someone. This website currently doesn't have tag manager, so we're gonna, this is a marketplace website built with our Tradely solution. So we're gonna see few things. First, um, creating a tag manager account. Okay, then the second, we're gonna implement this tag manager inside here. This implementation may vary based on which other software platforms you use. Third, we're gonna add some tags, yeah, or tracking implementation. When we do that, we're gonna see the benefits of tracking setting up in the way of like variables, triggers, and tags. Yeah, that's the three things we're gonna see in this uh, section. All right, so let me create a new account. So this app is called right, and I'll just put India for now because it's a localized marketplace. I don't need to share the data anonymously with Google, and I can put here, you can put anything you want, even the website container name also. If you want to put, you can put anything you want, but the best thing is that you put some variables so your other people, your other team members can in futures can always understand. Okay, and as we seen quickly, right, Tag manager is not something you can only implement in the web. You can put it in the app as well. And also there is something called server-side tracking. It's a bit deeper, so let's not go inside that now. It's a separate section. Okay. So what we want to do is that we want to do implement in the web. Let me accept all these things. While this is while this is loading, um, while this is loading, yeah, after I implement this thing itself, what you we created the account itself, it tells us you need to put this code in the head and also the code this code in the body. Okay, so usually in a simple HTML website you will just go inside, for example, something like this. Inside the head, you will put your the header tracking, and then from the and in the body you will put the body tracking. And also one other important thing is that you need to put whichever the tracking, the head or the body, from the first of the tag itself. For example, the head tag is the head div, it's starting here. The reason is because when you inject this thing, as I shared, it's like an as they said, it's a container, or say this is like a window. Okay, so any interaction which happen, let's say you put the code mm, let me just open this again. It shows. Okay, so what's inside the body? Where is the body? So let's put the body. So the body is starting here. Yeah. So if let's say there is a one component, for example, this is header and this is menu part. Okay, so from a code perspective, if you put the header, actually the body only would start from here, but the header it's behind. But let's use the body one. So when you put the body code here, right, if a user clicks here or user do any interactions, you will not be able to track. So if you want the tracking to work from a specific place from everywhere, means then you just put it on the start of the thing itself. So this way it's like a door, right? Any people who cross this door, it will be able to track all sorts of interactions. Okay, so cool. That should be simple. And also for lots and lots of free software tools, they provide these plugins. Okay, where you just need to install those plugins and then get this code and then put it there. But if it's a hard coded thing, your developers mostly knows this thing. Okay, that's the only help we're gonna need from them. Okay, so for Tradely software, we have pre-built implemented that. So what we need is that I'll go under this integration section. I just need to paste only the variables. Okay, so it even tells you just paste only this thing. Don't want this thing. Huh? Do not go deeper. Okay, another thing, we need to implement a plugin called Tag Manager Detector that allows us to tell, after we implement the tag manager, we need to identify whether it implemented properly or not, right? For example, see here, if I click preview, okay, uh, it loads a page, and then I put this URL. It will tell me there is no tag implemented. Let's wait for it. While this is loading, let me also save your time. Yeah, the thing itself, it doesn't come. It's because the tag manager, it's not, see here, there are no currently, no, there is nothing that it says it can't connect to the website. It's because it's not implemented. Okay, so let's say, right, so I save this, okay, save this, and then I can close this, okay, retry, connect. Let's also implement this tag manager system. This also helps us to see whether the tag is implemented or not. Not just tag is implemented or not, it does two things, but I'll show you in a visual way. You see here, so after we implemented this thing, so it's already telling your, I mean, the website is, these are all the like technical things that happens. It says concern initialization happened. You don't need to worry about all these things, but it just tells us your DOM is ready, your window is loaded, and all these things. Yeah, all the behavior it happens in the website, it tells you. Okay. For a long time, we all use this tag manager assistant. It also, this tag manager assistant, what it tells is that there will be like a plugin here while this is loading. I think it's going to take some time. It's my, it could be my internet. You can click the plugin and then extension, and then it will tell you whether the tag is installed. What are all the inside the tag manager? What all the tags are implemented and all those things. If there is any errors, it will tell those things. Okay, so good. So now we have implemented the first part. Yeah, this implementation part is not going to be the same for you if you are using a different software. Uh, no, we need to go back here. Okay, so now we are here, the base setup is done. Okay, now let's start creating tags. Okay, so the list of things I have in my plate, right, for this website, because it's a clean website, there is no tracking implemented. Okay, so I wanted to put maybe a Facebook pixel. Okay, but the main thing which I wanted to do is that I wanted to implement the Google Analytics, not just in the Google Analytics also there is a latest one called GA4. Instead of thinking about the past, we will directly implement the GA4 itself. This is automatically created from Google Ads. So our goal is that you want to create a GA4. Okay, so I click create a new property. Okay, uh, or else sorry, it's both gonna create the same thing, but I just want to create from here. Get started. So this setup will allow you to create a GA4, copy basic setting from your UA property because I already have a property here, and then it will allow your to set up your website tag to measure. Okay, create and continue. Success, it's loading. Meanwhile, while it is loading, so let's come here. We're going to create our new first tag. Okay, when we come to create our first tag, sometimes I don't know whether is it my internet or is the system itself. Okay, and then there is a three type of like tags on here. Okay, first is like these are all like their Google's own tools, so they have all the pre-set up. Okay, and there are sometimes uh, it's not even a tracking, but it's just like something you wanted to put, some HTML thing you wanted to put it right. At those times you can use this HTML tag. Okay, but most cases we don't usually use that. As a marketer, our focus is that mostly it's the Google tools or the other famous tools which Google has approved. And recently Google also have this template library. This is like an open source, not say open source, it's like other predefined setup by community people which you can reuse it. Okay, so cool. So the first thing itself, the parent, it's like you select what is the analytical tool you're going to implement. For, let's say if I wanted to implement HubSpot, I just search HubSpot. It will be mostly available in the template gallery. Or let's say if I want to put Hotjar, it's going to be available here. Yeah, the first thing is that you select the vendor. Yeah, and when I select the vendor, what is the thing it's asking? It's asking me, can you put your measurement ID? The measurement ID will come from here. See here, there. I think they are making the job easier, allowing you to put the famous website builders. But anyway, we're gonna implement this manually. Okay, our measurement ID is these. Okay, uh, let's just close this. We go here just to make sure our account, all those things is created on the measurement ID is this. Sorry, I want to go here so we don't get refresh this. I can also show you. So after we implement it, and then we tell uh, this is a tracking, right? We tell whether you want this to be this tracking should be implemented, sorry, it should be tracked only in a specific page. For example, as we seen before, do you want to put it only in a SG page, or like a my page, or in a different language, or different pages only? You can set up those conditions. That's the purpose of the trigger itself. Trigger, it's like it allows you to do multiple varieties of a condition. So trigger, you set up some condition before the trigger happens. Okay, but Google Analytics is mostly we wanted to show works out in all pages, so you can put all pages. Okay, but there are cases, for example, in financial companies, um, you don't want this to be shown. The tracking should be working in the, for example, let's say you have a URL called dashboard dot example dot com, where there is some financial track informations are happening. At the time you want to exclude, right? That's the purpose, why, how the tag manager, this triggering condition can help. So I'm telling, yes, I want this trigger to run only on page view. There are other varieties which we will see later. I want to run on page view, but so all pages, okay, and then exclude dashboard. And then here we tell that the page host name. Usually the host names are these, like things before your .com or .app and all these things. Host names are just these things, whether it has subdomain or not domain. That's the host name. But the page path, yeah, there's another thing is called page path. Page paths are, for example, it's so in this URL, right? So the page path of the URL is this. The domain or the host name is this. It's not even HTTPS. It's just this thing. Okay. So we want to set up a condition. We don't want this to run. That's not. This is like all the logics you can use it. Okay. I don't want if the host name contains dashboard. Of course, I don't have any URL called dashboard. And then we put out this triggers. Okay, then what is variable? So this is GA4. I'm using this measurement ID here, right? Let's say I wanted to have um, a different tag with a different trigger. Okay, for now let me just create this all pages excluding dashboard. Yeah, this is the trigger. There is also a proper nomenclature we can follow, but not this time. uh, this is the second time I'm also like implementing the GA4. That's the reason I want to open that, because sometimes it can really confuse you. So your property settings. Okay, I think we are right. Initially, what was it? Somewhere it showed, yeah. Yeah, okay, anyway. Um okay, it works. And then so yeah, this is the measurement ID, right? So I save it. Okay. Then I think two things later. Yeah, it's a summary. Then sometimes I want to use the same measurement ID, or let's say measurement ID is not something we will always change, but there are some variables we always like change, right? It could be Facebook tracking ID and all those things. At the time, instead of putting the whole constant here, you create a variable so you can reuse it. So these are all like Google does Tag Manager does have lots of predefined variables, but what we want to create is that we want to create a new variable. The variable is that my GA4 ID. Okay, and then what's going to be inside this variable, is it a URL or is it some sort of like a cookie and all those things? No, what we want is just a constant. Okay, I just use this. Okay, for now, right, let me show you whether this thing first of all works or not before even showing how does the how to use the variables. So now we have finished. Okay, and yes, one good highlight, it's a very important thing as well. So when you implemented this thing, when developers implement the thing, and then usually they have sandbox and production environment. So at the time they can test and do properly. When you are like running individual projects, all those things, you wanted to make mistakes. Yeah. Imagine you put something and then the code started showing up here. It's crazy. So it's Google Tag Manager allows you to provide a testing environment where you can test these things before. So I click preview. I implemented Google Tag, the analytics. Okay, so now the website is reloading. In the tag resistance, when the page loads, my the Google Analytics tag should load. Okay, you see here. So this is loading. I mean, so just to give you some like how do I tell like how to utilize this tag manager preview, right? Um, there is as you seen here, it provides you, there is like two sections. One is like every action I make. So I click this, you'll see here there will be, I think there's an error in the website, but anyway let me just click this category. When I click this category, okay, uh okay, there is no, like, it doesn't say there is like a click behavior happen. Yeah, so when you make any transactions, when you make any interaction, it shows up here. The reason why I was expecting to show clicks change, the reason why it doesn't show is because uh, I need to activate some built-in triggers. So not built-in triggers, need to activate some built-in variables. So I want to activate uh, when people click URL, when people click text, if I want some click classes and all those things, I can do. When people submit form, the form URL, form text, can do many things. Okay, it's another topic, but okay, let me show you now. So now I added the clicks behavioral tracking. Yeah, not tracking, clicks behavior variables. So I'm going to refresh this, and this is loading. That's just because I have been using this for quite some time. I didn't bother to activate the click tracking. So now I click this category. When I click this category here, it should show click behavior. Why it doesn't show? Don't stop. Um, Edit put. So another thing what we can do, right? When we are clicking, is that we can also identify what sort of interaction is happening. So for example, here it says this is a click. Let's activate all the things. Okay, let's activate all the things. I wanted to publish now as well because there isn't any default variable activated. There is something called version as well. Sometime you will be working on something, you will be working on another thing. So at the time you can create different versions and then publish only a certain thing. But now it's just an empty container. I'm publishing everything. Okay, so now let's refresh again. I think our tag manager assistant also it's ready. Uh-huh. Sorry. No, this is not the one we should use. Use the legacy one. The legacy one is still useful. Okay, let me just delete that. It was very quick to use that. Okay. We don't need this because it's legacy, but it's my mind. It still help us. Because what happens is that you see here, and then you enable this. And then when you load this, even though your tag assistance here, it gives you all the thing. You can even go inside your competitors websites and then can quickly check. You see here, so we have implemented the Google Tag Manager properly. But if you see here, it doesn't show any of the GA4. So, oh yeah, I published it. That's why it shows the GA, the Google tag itself. So it's fine. Okay, we need to figure out now why this click trackers and the click behaviors are not working. So I click this thing. There is high, it's also possible sometimes when the softwares doesn't implement this kind of things. Yeah, at the time also this kind of things can happen. So just to show you whether it is a software problem or, so let me just go into my blog. It does happen. Sometimes you will know. So let's use these. But anyway, our GA4 is successful. Okay, you see here, it's already said your database collection is active. Users in last minute. So that is already a success. But it's good to be with me and then see uh, how I'm like troubleshooting the things. So it helps you out. So where were we? We were here. So I want to look preview and then the URL I want to load is this. So maybe this loads or it creates a new URL. Okay, it creates a new URL, means a new tab. So when this loaded, yeah, let's keep this here. When this loaded, it will tell me while this is loading, yeah, it tells me all my trackers are firing. Let me click something. For example, I wanted to click maybe this. This is a click behavior. When I make a click, you see it tells that the interaction you make is that it's a link click. And this is the part which I want to cover. When sometimes there are cases when you apply some conditions in your triggers and then it may run or it may doesn't run, right? How you can verify that is you come here on the click, okay, it's check. Here you can find the values behind this click. So the user made a click and then this is the URL he clicked it and this is the text he clicked it. Yeah, I mean you can see, right? What is the click text I click? Let me just go above. So this is the one I click, right? So it tells me this is the click and all these things. Yeah. So when you're setting up a triggers, yeah, at the time you may want to do is that in the triggers itself you want to set up some conditions. Three things. Let me repeat that. First is like you use this variable to know whether you're, I mean, when you, no, sorry. The three things. When you make the interactions, first you need to identify what is the interaction itself. Okay. Then second thing is that you identify the variables. Yeah. And that interaction, what are the variables? When you click, it's showing up. You use this two information to create a trigger. Okay. Then when after you use the trigger and then the tags are published, then when you see that whether the tag is firing or not, what you can do is that you will click this. When you click this, it will tell you, okay, your triggers you asked for a click, okay, it's there. You asked for any clicks, so it's there. Let's say now I wanted to try. Um, let's exactly try this one. Okay, so we wanted to set up a trigger. When somebody click, double click solution, double click creative solutions. Okay, so I wanted to create a trigger. Anybody do a click, and then also you can set up whether it's any elements or just clicks. I just want to see do the clicks only. Is it all clicks? No, I just want specific click. And what is the trigger I wanted, a variable I want to use for the conditions? When the text is this. Okay, so Where is the click text? Okay, it's here and then it's contains. Okay, it's easy. You can put equal, but it's okay to just to put contains. Still not bad. And then um, just put test. Okay, so I do this. Let's create the test GA tag. So this is a GA test. Okay, and then we can, yeah, so we need to select the tool. I don't have a GA4 for my personal blog. Okay, so we'll just use this. You see here I have already the variable selected here, so I'll just reuse this and then trigger these only here. Okay, I save this and then I preview this because I need to test, so always we need the tags. Oh wait, okay, it's loaded. Okay. So first thing, you will click the first item. Okay, click this. Okay, so it's a link behavior. Okay, link behavior where it's our test tag. This is our test tag. Okay, so it says when the link is clicked, these two tags are successfully fired, but this tag, the test tag, is not fired. So we click this, and this tells us clearly why this tag is not fired. It tells us, okay, you wanted to track a page view. Okay, that's fine, but the event is a link click. That's what you want. Good. And but the click text should be DC Studio. Okay, but currently the one which the user has clicked, it's not that one. Okay, so that's the reason your tag is not fired. Okay, so let's go back again here, and then what is the one we implemented this. I go here, I go my second click. You see here, this is fired. Why it's fired? My click text is matching this. Okay, so cool. So this is how you can use the trigger system to set up some conditions, and also how you can use this preview to identify. This is really a helpful one. Like a lot of the time we really go mad, like why this is not working and all those things. So you can come here and then see when you make that interaction, you can identify what is that variable it's currently, not just variable. Sometimes developers use like they may use some classes, sometimes they don't even use classes. You will be able to figure out when it's empty, you can tell that, okay, I'm trying to click this button, but there is no classes. Okay, if there is no classes, can I use anything else? So you can use this variables to identify. And then you can use this variable to identify to put up some trigger condition as well. Then after you set up the tags, you can see here why the tag is running and why the tag is not running, or why the tag is firing and why the tag is not firing. Okay, cool. So in summary, we have implemented, now let's go back here, we have implemented in this container, where is it? I think I refresh that. In the latest Google Tag Manager container, we implemented the GA4, so it's tracking. That's why when I go here and then click Tag Assistance, this one, I'm able to see the GA4. Okay, and also I use this thing as well. That's not specifically for tracking, but it tells that what are all the other things, because the tag manager plugin tells you what tags are implemented. It doesn't tells you whether the Facebook is implemented, LinkedIn, all these implemented. This Wappalyzer tells me what are the other things are implemented. Okay, so for example, if I go here, right, and then I click Wappalyzer, see here, there's so many items I'm using. I am using a Pinterest conversion tag, I'm using Matoma, I use HubSpot, I use Hotjar, and all those things. Do I go into my website and put all these things? No. How I do it is that it's everything is here, so you can see here, right? So this is to show one by one, so you can find Hotjar, you can find LinkedIn, you can find Pinterest. I'm just trying to identify where is my Matomo. Okay. The reason why I see Matomo here, right? May not may not be me who put these pixels. It could be also the other solutions which I'm using. They may also use this pixel as well. So this plugin clearly identify what all the other tracking also it's inside your website. Okay, without even you go and check the full code base, gives you a cool idea. Okay, so now the Google Analytics thing is done. So now let's go back. Instead of trying out um, different thing, I can show you what are all the things I have done it here. So it gives you an idea and also saves your time. Okay, the first thing itself, every websites apart from the GA, I like to put this Hotjar. Okay, Hotjar is it's a measurement tracking tool. Let's see how I have used it. So I just put uh, Hotjar base tracking and then I put this ID. So if I want, I can put this variable. The reason why I didn't put this variable is that it's a simple block. I'm not going to use it. But let's say, right, uh, let's say if we come here, okay, you will identify, see here, I put mix panel tracking, but the mix panel itself, it's a 3 pages. So to show you, right, there is in a 3 places I'm using it. So, so this project token, shouldn't show you this project token. I think it's fine. Uh, if I wanted to reuse it, okay, let me show you another example where I have used the variables itself. In clients' websites, yes, I have many things, but in my personal projects, I don't have really that need to do it. So I use it for Facebook pixels. I have used it for GA. I also use for mix panel as well. It seems like I didn't use it in all places. So if I want to reuse it, I can reuse it. So going back to our example, right? So this Hotjar one, I have it. I have here. But if I wanted to use as a variable and reuse it later, I can just create this. Hotjar ID, and then it's a constant. Just use it and then save it. Okay, and it will be there. There are some cases, right? These variables also will help. Example, there was one fintech client before a few years ago. We wanted to, yeah, I think this is the one. We wanted to automatically put on every, so for example, I go here, okay, and user if user click this thing, okay, I want to track, but when it gets stored, okay, instead of just it's storing the variable as uncategorized, I want to add some manual value as well. So what I can do is that, so change, I can create, for example, it's a custom event tracking for GA. And then I can say GA. I used page view previously, so now let's use event, because when you want to store events is another topic to explain, but events specifically, what's the purpose of the event is there. So just to go back here, events, it's like not just by default you are doing page tracking, click tracking, all those things, but for specific click tracking you may want to store more information about it. Yeah, so at those time you can use this event. So for example, I'm tracking when people do the link clicks, what is the text and what is the form submission, and then under the link clicks, I'm adding what is the clicks they're tracking. So if I put even label, right, the secondary dimension, we'll find what all the text people are clicking. You see there are a lot of people clicking no text. But anyway, when we do the event based tracking, instead of so first the category, if you want to give a name for it, you can do it. But if you don't want to give a name for it, you want to use the variable, you can use it. For example, maybe I can just tell, okay, just put the category as a page URL. The action is that, so this is the place where I want to put, show me link click. If I don't want to manually type and then set up a link click tracker, but I want to track everything, I will just select what sort of what sort of no, that's not a good example. So here, right? So in the link click, okay, this is manual, but here I wanted to identify what is the links they're clicking. Okay, but here also I wanted to put like URL minus, instead of by saving a default click URL, I wanted to put some sort of like some identifier. Okay, this is just an example, crazy example, but when you want, you can combine these thing with this. So in the fintech company, right, we want to put some sort of like manual identifier with the dynamic identifier. I mean, static identifier with the dynamic identifier. This helps us to do some tracking and all those things. So if you want to do it, you can do it. And also here, let's say you wanted to put, you want to use maybe click URL and then minus, and then you wanted to do the variable. For example, let's say Hotjar ID, put from the Hotjar ID. It can. So this variable can be reused. Yeah, that's the purpose of this variables itself. Okay. So as we finish the trigger creation, it's sort of like complete our whole thing. I mean, like, we have seen how to create tags. We also seen how to create the triggers, and how to create the variables and where you can use variable and all those things. Okay, we didn't go through like creating different tags. That's one of the things we're going to deep dive, and then like basically like set up everything we plan. We wanted like this number of pixels, yeah, for that marketplace website. I don't think we will do LinkedIn ads because it's a consumer side. So we're gonna do deep dive and then do. Okay, so just to like put everything into context. Okay, so we initially we first created a container. Okay, container, we created this container for the web container, yeah, which for the Namakadai URL. And then later we also create a container for mobile app, but that's another topic. And then we created the tags. You can create the multiple tags, and if you wanted to create some folders, and then create a folders and then group your tags inside them, you may do so. Okay, currently I don't have a need, but it's a very simple one. If you want to do it, you can do it. So I'll just do it. Singapore, just put Singapore, and then if I want to move something, I can move them. Okay, so that's explained. And triggering conditions, the triggering conditions we have quickly seen, especially with the contains formula and all those things. But if you wanted to contains logics and all those things, but if you wanted to use a lot of other things, you can do so as well. Okay, but slowly you will get all those things. So if I go too deep, it will confuse you. Okay, now let's start implementing these pixels. So we're gonna do Facebook pixel and Google pixel. We already done, so I can just like delete these. And then GA4 we already done it, and I'm gonna do Hotjar as well. Okay, and to plan this whole thing, I have got my sheet which is ready as well, which I will explain. And also I have created a new Hotjar account. This is loading. And then when you create a new Facebook ad account, what you can do is that I also have an ad account. Previously, the project has an app, so the app tracking is already there, but web is not there. So what you can do is that after you create an ad account, you can click this hamburger menu, come to Events Manager, and you click data source. Okay, we will create a web thing as well. So in a short, what we're going to see is that we're going to see how to implement the meta pixel. Yeah, this is for the web, just for information. So we're going to set up some triggers. Okay, and also on the GA4 side as well, page view we already have it, but there are certain some events I wanted to track. I will tell you why we're going to track these events as well. Okay, so okay, now the first job for tracking and measurement, the first job is that these things, um, going back to of a root of R based thinking, okay, like a framework based thinking. It helps us, it helps us to identify what are all the tracking. Yeah, I mean, without even going inside like the tracking and set up all those things, first we need to do a plan. Okay, this is something I did some time ago, so I'm reusing this, but I'm gonna sit with you and do it together with you. Yeah. So in the R framework, I mean, if you're not sure about the R framework, just to remind, there is a video about R framework, so you can see in detail why it's important. But we will see through the R framework what are the things we want to track. Okay, first is acquisition. On the acquisition thing, we wanted to put every pixels. Yeah, I mean, like the Facebook can bring traffic, Google can bring traffic, LinkedIn can bring traffic, all other things. So we want to put all those tags. Okay, in the activation thing, when a user after they come inside the website, what else we want to track? After they come inside the website, we wanted to track whether they add an item to the cart for a buyer. Yeah, then for the seller we wanted to see whether they open a store account. And then what else we can track? Okay, let's just write down that. I'm just gonna just put all these things closer so we don't need to keep dragging this. I'm also going to remove this. We have already seen that. And yeah, these things as well we don't need. This thing just delete just to avoid confusions, because this is the only image we need to refer to visualize. Yeah, so let's zoom in. The list of triggers we wanted to track. Actually, let me just copy these and put it here. Okay, now my so let's just put our, I mean, acquisition, activation. So for a buyer, I wanted to see whether this guy had made register. Okay, so we can actually click in one more column. So this is the tracking pixel, or say e. This is the tracking pixel, and here is the name. What I want to track is that I want to send to my GA or to the Meta, um, open an seller account. This is for seller. Okay, and then even if you want to do one more column for seller and buyer, sorry, uh, seller and buyer, you can classify them as well. It's always go with this kind of structure, so it helps you to think. So I want to open a seller. When I use to open a seller account, then for the buyer, um, um, wish list, and then add to cart, and then it's the purchase. Okay, so for the seller, open a seller account, post his first listing, post a listing. So I'll just put post a listing. We need to provide proper name for this, because that's not how we're gonna send in the event action, in the event labels and all. We need to have like simple, very like a short words. um, always the rules is there, use small or capital letter, like one method when we use put this little thing. Okay, I guess that's it. While we are working on the project, we will get other ideas what all the things we wanted to track it here. So let's start. So for these pixels, right, I sort of where is it, I sort of created creating a new Hotjar um, account, not account, like a, they have something called, it's not container, but sort of they call it as a site. I created that, and also I'm inside that ad account. Okay, so when you go in, when you have a Facebook ad account, you'll be able to click this link and you can come here into the events manager. So far I don't have, okay, let it load. So far I don't have it. Previously we implemented the project, or the marketplace was only available on mobile app, so we had the mobile app tracking implemented, but now only we have, not now but last few months we have the web as well, so we're going to do the web. So currently there is no web. Okay. So I'm going to create that as well. Two things. I'm in the Google Tag Manager. So I'm going to create a new tag for Facebook. So if you want, you can use the custom HTML. I'm going to show both, and also the template gallery as well. So let's search template gallery for the Facebook. I'm gonna use these guys pixel, so it's just going to inject some script in one. This is the first time I'm also like trying this. Okay, usually what we do is that we just copy the pixel and then put the pixel code there. I'm going to show that method as well. So for now, yeah, save this. Okay, I need to put a trigger, so I'll just put all pages. But let me also show you. Okay, now is a good time to explain you about this workspace as well. So I wanted to do test manual Facebook pixel. Okay, so when I create this thing, it's gonna have the only item which we have published before. You don't find the one which I just created. Yeah. So now let's do the Facebook the pixel. This is the man. You can always put the vendor name first and put where you're gonna serve this. It's all pages. Then you can put what it is this. This is a page view. You can see here. Here is the page view, right? This is the easiest one. But later we're gonna see how to use a single pixel to have other events as well. First, let's start with the page views, and then I can say why. For example, here, right? This is a what do you say, uh, constant. If I wanted to reuse this constant another in other tags in futures, I can take out these. Okay, for example, if I can like put like this GID, something like that. But anyway, I will show that later. So we save these. Okay, so let's preview. When I click preview, we also, the reason why I have a two browser, it's not to give you uh, not to bother you, but it's just that my Facebook is like this thing. Okay, so this is running, and okay, and also let's get this thing ready as well. So nowadays, okay, previously and all, before few months back, Facebook doesn't even ask you to do the verified domain. Now they're asking you to do the verified domain, blah blah blah. But anyway, that's not needed. We just go to pixel overview. You can do all those things later. Okay. Um, I don't think I have ad blockers for now. I just need to trust this for a while. I will sort the ad blockers. Okay, so let's continue. So you can see here, this tag is firing. Yeah, so when the window is first in the initialization itself, no, after the initialization, when the container load, this is the trigger is loading. You can also set up like in a way. Sometimes some bloggers they also recommend that you can fire non-important tags after the DOM ready. So the website is fully loaded, and then you do all you load all these things. So not to slow down your website. So if you wanted to do that right, so what you will do is that you won't use this all page trigger. What you will use that is, so just click and do this, and then create the trigger configuration. When the DOM is ready, the data object model is ready. Uh, page view DOM ready. You can file that. So I can remove these. You can also put under R condition as well. So sorry, R condition. So I'll save these. And then to show you right again, I will show you when I refresh this thing, the tag won't load on the container loaded, it will the tag will only fire after the DOM is ready. I hope this is the same thing I'm using. Let's close all these things to avoid confusions. Uh, let's close this as well, close this as well. Okay, so when the container is loaded, this thing is fired, but it should fire only on the DOM is ready. Mm. Until here, the tag is not fired. That's fine. Okay, I think the it's there is also no, it should it should fire only after the DOM is loaded. No, this is sorry. If you want to use like after window loaded, because if we go back here, right? See here after the whole not the top, after the whole window is loaded, then load, um, then it will. So this is how in real life it happens. I mean, like it's not like when you see in a video, like everything goes smooth, right? It's not like that. This is how it happens. Our minds are thinking in multiple ways. So the DOM is ready. It's not fired. So when the window is ready, then it's fired. Yeah. Okay. Great. Uh, we got this thing done. So now you know how I'm using the different workspace. So when I publish these, right? When I publish these, you see here it doesn't has the other the one which I created to the gallery. Yeah. So it's only these things get published. When it's published, it's also get more. Let's see whether it gets merged to the other things or not. Okay. Close these. Go back here. Okay. It's get merged. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, you can see here the wait. The previous one which we tried but which we didn't publish, it's still there. Okay. Um, it's there. From this whole workspace, we can identify these, but why this doesn't come here? We need to update this workspace. Then only this will be available. This notifications, I think it's because of my internet. All these things are coming slowly. So, okay, now we can see the thing. So this one, okay, I can also show you like how to use the the galleries if you wanted to use that. Okay, uh, but I don't have much experience using the galleries and all, but I can explain you. Okay, so what we can see from here is that when we by manually when we put the code, okay, we can track. We can if I put something like custom block, right? This will be stored. This will be stored here. This will come as an event here. Currently by default they have page view, so when it's a page view, it will come as a page view event. Okay, but if we see from this gallery, it changes. We see from this gallery, they come with the predefined events which Facebook has defined it. These are all like a predefined events which Facebook has it. If you wanted to send some custom thing, I don't think these guys are. Oh, okay, you can select here to do that. For so as I told you, like for example, I put lorem blah. I can put this and then it will go. But this standard is that these are the standard in the Facebook by default. It's accepting. It should start showing up, or else because this is just in a preview, right? Even though in the preview, when we click something, it's all get sent to the Facebook pixel. So let's just visit a few pages. So we can start to see whether those things are clear or not. And also similar like Google Tag, what is it like Google Tag Manager preview? They also give you test events as well. So if you wanted to test in that way, also you can test. But when you test here, it won't work because if it's still not published, it will not work. But now we have already the page we already published, right? So I can also show you using these. So I load these. Let's click like few things. So we need some data, like few more datas. So all these things can like show up here. Also need to make sure this is the pixel ID. Let's stay here. No, this is not something we want to test. We want to first test this thing, which is this page view thing. So yeah, it's 404.404. So it should start. Maybe it takes some time. While it is taking time, let's also uh, set up some events as well. So here's the event I want to set up. I want to set up this add to cart, all those things. So let's just put. Okay, let's start using this event add to cart, and the trigger is not this trigger. I want a new trigger. I want to create a new trigger. It's based on somebody somebody click this add to cart button. So for us to test drive, the first thing we wanted to do is that close all these things. I wanted to test is that the interaction is recording or not. So I'm clicking add to cart. When I click this, I think this is because of the code. You see here, I mean, there is no click text, there is no click URL. So the software and the base code doesn't have all these things. It should not be available. So for example, this is signing page. For the signing page now, a lot of things are undefined. So this is the way we can get your team to set up all these things properly. I want so by using this website, we won't be able to properly use this. But we use the WordPress one, which we have already have. We should be able to do. Let me think and then start again. I think the issue was with the website in the code itself. So I have written down to my developers to identify what's the issue. Meanwhile, while they are fixing that, we're going to do Hotjar. Okay. Before we do Hotjar, I want to quickly show you the Facebook pixel which we have been trying to implement. I think it takes like few like 10 to 20 minutes to show up here. Okay, so that's why I can see the page view. The balance, what we wanted to do is that we wanted to do some event based tracking for meta and like this kind of things, which will do it after they fix that. Otherwise we need to only use like others websites to do it. But let's focus on here so we can fully get this thing done. Okay, so okay, let's do the Google sorry the Hotjar recommendation, because I wanted to receive some feedbacks here, similar like how they are also collecting feedbacks. I wanted to collect some feedbacks about what people think about this website. So to implement this kind of things, it's going to be easy with the tag manager. Okay, if I want, I can create a different workspace, but I don't have a lot of pending things here, right? Or else there are a few pending things. Okay, let's create a new workspace. Okay, so we just call this a next set of pixel. Okay, select the create this, and then we're gonna do Hotjar. Hotjar should be fine. What? We have stale data. Refresh the page and try. I think it's my internet. I have connected back my internet, so let's refresh this first, just to make sure. I'm gonna remove all these things for a while, so you can start fresh. I was showing to my developer what is the issue. Sometimes, I mean, like if nowadays a lot of new frameworks comes. If it's like WordPress, is everything is easy, but like when you're like developing something from the scratch, usually these are all like crash scenarios. Okay, so the new thing is ready. My first pixel is that I wanted to do Hotjar. So here Hotjar is easy one, but also it's a very powerful one. So you can put the brand, the vendor or the pixel name first, then you put whether you want to put it in all pages or not. Then you can put what the pixel is going to do. It's all pages. It's like everything because it's going to have some pop-ups, some screen recording and all those things. Okay, so trigger. So this time I'm going to use this. Yeah, I don't want this tracking should recording should work on inside the dashboard. Of course, this website doesn't have like a dashboard page, but just for the sake of like what is the reason why we created this, right? Because we have applied a condition not to show any financial data. Of course, this website doesn't have any financial data, so we selected this for a safer case. And also right here itself, if you want, you can even edit this instead of like page view. I want this to load only like after the window is loaded, so it doesn't slow down the website. Okay, so let's go here. You need the site ID. Mostly the site ID is here. Or if you want to be very careful, you can click this. And then they also ask whether you want to use tag manager and all those things. But anyway, we'll just say we are taking a manual code. In the manual code here, you can find the site ID. Here we need to put the code. By the way, if you are using Tradely website to build some of your projects, this Hotjar, without even using Google Tag Manager, it's already as a pre-built integration. Okay, cool. So now we want we can test, but I also wanted to set up some. Okay, first I will show you this. So it's still loading. So the tags are not fired. When the DOM is ready, it should load. So let's wait for the, sorry, the window is loaded, it should fire. So after the window is loaded, it's firing. Okay, so this is tested now. But what I wanted to do is that I wanted to make sure when I create a feedback form, I want a feedback, take my first feedback. Hotjars are proud about themselves, telling that people can see the value of their product fast, even though it's a complex product. They say that. I don't think it's a complex product, it's a simple product. But yes, of course, we see the value faster. Yes, it's just, I mean, if you want to put all these things, yeah, you can change. But anyway, I'm just going to use the basic thing just to save your time. Okay, and then I just need to activate these. Okay, please review the missing steps. Page targeting now setup. I don't want to show in mobile and all. Yes, all pages. Okay, all pages. I don't want all these things at all. Just start. Okay, so now, okay, it's active. I'll move. Install the tracking code. It's because it's not publicly available, right? But anyway, here I think it should work because we are under the debug mode, so it should show here. Let's test. Okay, cool. So this works. That's it. So this one is very quick because it's a very straightforward thing. But for the Facebook, it's not just the pixels. We wanted to add a lot of other events as well. So for that, this thing need to be fixed. Once it is fixed, we will restart that. Until then, thank you. If you have any questions, please comment and share with your friends.